Alrighty guys, welcome to episode 4, and this is going to be now implementing fair value gaps. And now that we can identify when a market structure shift happens, known as a change in the state, a fair value gap is going to be able to give us that trigger to take the entry and have better precision on taking trades and not being scared. And this is when you just sit and watch, and you have to be patient in order for fair value gaps to work. So this is episode 4, and let's get straight into it. Alrighty, so now we are going to identify a fair value gap. So this first example is going to be we're going to identify a bearish fair value gap. So we have this first candle, a big displacement move on the second candle, and then we have a move to the downside on this third candle right here. So on the first candle, since this is a bearish fair value gap, you'd put the start of your fair value gap at the bottom of this wick on the first candle, and then you would move to this third candle and put it at the top of the wick. And this would be an example of a bearish fair value gap, which after having a big displacement move, price usually likes to tap back into the fair value gaps. For example, right here, we tap this fair value gap back to the tick, and that is how you get precise entries. And this is your trigger to taking a trade. Now I'm going to give you an example of a bullish fair value gap. Alrighty guys, now for an example of a bullish fair value gap. So we have candle 1 right here, we have a displacement candle for candle 2, and another mini displacement candle for candle 3. So for bullish, on candle 1, you want to put it on the top of that wick, and skip candle 2, go to candle 3, and put it at the bottom of that wick. As I said, price usually likes to go back down to it before moving to its liquidity or the draw on liquidity. So for example, happened again, price tapped back into this fair value gap, this bullish fair value gap, then had a move back to take out internal high, etc. This is literally how you take entry trades and how you get precision, because then you'd put the stop at this bottom fair value gap. Fair value gaps are a huge implement and a huge ingredient in this forever model. So that is an example of a bullish fair value gap. Alrighty, I'm going to explain why fair value gaps aren't just random aggressive moves that the market is trying to go to the straight draw on liquidity without giving people an entry. The reason for this, for this fair value gap to be here, people think that we are just going to now see a downtrend going to this low potentially, or even this low. But if you keep an eye on it, there's a fair value gap right here that if you're watching the market and how it reacts, price is going to want to tap into here. This is when it stops traders out and you get your entry then to run higher to the potential draw on liquidity, which is up here. So you would get the sniper entry with a tight stop loss at this bottom of this fair value gap with a huge win, because it stopped all the traders going short because they are following the trend, and you as a trader knew that it was not going below this, and it just wanted to tap back in to rebalance to inefficiencies, which is the reason the markets move, because it rebalanced to inefficiencies known as fair value gaps. Alrighty, so we would have a checklist for the fair value gap, which was a fair value gap comes after our change in the state of delivery, and once it shoots past, once we know market wants to move higher, it should retest that fair value gap to then have its move to the drawn liquidity. Another reason fair value gaps are so huge in this model is because this is on the 1 hour. For top-down analysis, to get a daily bias and get where the draw on liquidity wants to be and where our daily candle wants to move, is the reason of this. So if I saw right here, and market hasn't tapped back into this fair value gap, let's just say that market hasn't tapped back into this, and I'm seeing we are having an extremely bearish trend, I would want to see the fair value gap get tapped back into this. Then my bias would be this internal high, which market does that, taps, instantly has a huge wick, forming instantly that I know we want to go to this high or possibly even higher. So a fair value gap has to have a clean displacement, and if a candle like this, you see how we have this big wick and it does not have a fair value gap here. If a candle is not a clean displacement, you're gonna have to just wait, be patient for the market. The market will potentially leave without you, but you have to be confident enough to trade your model and know that your model works and it is profitable. So this is why fair value gaps are a huge key in the forever model, in the model I trade. Alrighty, so I'm just now going to zoom in to this model because I'm going to give an example of a tap back into this fair value gap. So on the bigger time frame, we're on the hour, we tap into this. I'm instantly wanting to see the market go higher. Zooming into the 15-minute. With this, we would have a change in the state right here on the 15-minute. Change in the state. Once we get a clear close above that high, zoom. You could have entered here. This would be a risky trade. This is a mini fair value gap. Let's zoom into the 1 minute here. After having this move, we entered into this 1 minute fair value gap. I was a bit too zoomed out. I could potentially want to see a retest back to this fair value gap right here, then to see my trade, then to go higher. Or market could just leave without me because I was a bit too zoomed out, but this is perfect. This is a perfect trade. Have our big displacement move. Didn't close above the change of state. This would be the only thing. We did create this fair value gap that we did tap into. We always closed above it, which would make me bearish. We just kind of consolidated. This would be my entry. Once we had this big candle, let me kind of tone down the red a little. I'd place my trade at the bottom of the fair value gap, targeting this internal high. Market then proceed, because that is huge, but it does end up doing it. Takes the internal high. I would not send a trade this long. I'd probably target equilibrium of this range, which we'll get more into in the later videos. Probably target to this equilibrium. But yeah, this is honestly a good trade, and it shows us what market wants to do and how a value gap right here, this little 5 minute fair value gap, shows us that price wants to go higher just off the candle closure of the trade. Once we have this big displacement candle, there is a mini fair value gap. Let me get zoomed in here. That price did not tap into, as we can see, in which this would be a reason markets would just shoot up without us. And yeah. Alrighty, this is examples on when not to use a fair value gap. People use trends to use fair value gaps, but we don't. We use ICT, which is an actual strategy, and people use trend lines fair value gaps to enter trade, which I feel like should not give you enough conviction to enter a trade. So you should not be using a fair value gap when you don't have your change in the state of delivery. If a fair value gap has already been tapped into, you shouldn't want to see it retest it during news, or if there's choppy price action, because there's examples of during news where prices shoots below it, even though that may not be the drawn liquidity. If there's no SMTs or even confluences for that, you want to have your daily bias be the similar price action as the internal model. So you want to see the daily bias connect to your internal model, and you want to see internal price action. You want to see sell side get taken, potentially see buy side if your daily bias is bullish. So you have to have a reason for that fair value gap to be filled, and you have to have confluences, and that is what gives you conviction to take the trade and to have your model and not be shivering in a trade because you're nervous because you took some random trade that you know you shouldn't have because you didn't have any conviction with. So another example, top of this wick, or bottom of the wick, top of this third candle wick. candle 1, candle 2, candle 3. Candle 1 is the bottom of the wick, candle 3 top of the wick. That is a fair value gap, and this is the fair value gap template that I use. It's just clean, gives straight to the point on what this rectangular box is because it is a fair value gap. I also have first presented fair value gap. I also have a breaker block, breakaway gap, inverse fair value gap, opening range gap, and a SIBI, which is a bearish fair value gap, and a BISI, which is a bullish fair value gap. But this is the template you should know, and you just need to know. You see this trend is bearish, which means this would be a bearish fair value gap, and you want to see price tap into it, then to have a move lower. Alrighty, so this is what you should do before episode, 6 drops? Episode 5, I mean. Before episode 5 drops. So your goal is to mark 3 valid changes in the states with a fair value gap. And if you do have that and price does tap back into that, screenshot it, analyze it. If price doesn't, analyze why it didn't do that. This is how you make your eyes catch clean entries, and this is how you just fuse it into your brain. So once you see it on a live market, and once you're watching live markets, you'll catch it, you'll spot it, you'll have a clean entry and a perfect stop loss, and it's just perfect. So that is your homework. The next video we're also going to go over SMTs, and this will give you confluences. This should match your daily bias. It should match the drawn liquidity, and we are going to be going over that in episode 5. So yeah. Alrighty guys, this is a wrap up of episode 4. Episode 5 we're going to be going over SMTs, and we're going to filter out all the SMTs that don't matter on the internal time frame, so it should validate your confirmation. This is a huge confluence, and once you have this down, this is the secret to how you can win trades. So please like and subscribe and comment below if you do like this series, and I'll see you all at an episode 5.